Hi, have you ever gotten into a relationship really fast and the sparks fly and you're just all romantic and you're having a great time with that person and you're just really in love and this is the one and all that is going along and then later on you find out that this is not the one. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how that physiologically happens to you and how you get hijacked into romance and not real love. So, Freddie, let's talk about it.
Okay, so studies have been done that within what happens is this is what nature does to us. They want us to reproduce. So when we meet a mate that looks like they could possibly be a good reproducing mate, then our body gets flooded with chemicals. We get oxytocin, dopamine, PEA are the big ones, and that happens. And what happens when we have those chemicals come through our body is that we lose our ability to reason. The frontal cortex just goes away.
Yeah, it goes in the trash can.
Yeah, we're done.
What do we need that for? I'm in love.
I'm in love, and it feels so good.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
Yeah, been there, done that. In fact, with my third marriage, by the time we met, got married, and divorced was 3.5 months. Because I was so in love that I could not see this person in front of me. And then after, because they call it the 90-day rule. This one guy that I've been listening to, he says that it's really important because of the chemicals that you have that you need to give that relationship 90 days before you make any kind of commitment at all. He says you have to see them in action because they're going to be as chemically connected to you too. And then you're not going to be able to see kind of like the little hints about, oh, maybe it might not work out. Oh, it'll be fine. We'll make it work. Oh, I don't know. I have a friend, same thing. She did the same thing I did. She met this incredibly handsome guy. She had just gone through a bad divorce, and he was so in love, and she was so in love. So they got married within a couple months, and when they were flying to Hawaii on their honeymoon, she looked at him and went, "What have I done?" And as soon as she landed, she went and bought another ticket, flew back to the mainland, and filed for divorce. Well, no, she got an annulment. Yeah. But anyway, so it was the same thing. All of a sudden, those chemicals went away, and she could see who he really was and thought, what am I thinking? This is never going to work. So luckily for me and for her is that we realized that early on before we avoided a lot more financial problems and more heartache with that.
Well, the other thing too is you get swept up in this whole chemical thing of dopamine and PEA, all these different chemicals that are changing the way you focus on the other person. You start actually ruminating, or you can actually go into it's an OCD cycle. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just become so just enamored with this person that they're the one. But what you really need to do is talk to some friends that you trust that will tell you the truth and go, am I kind of being logical about this? Does this even make sense? Do you think they're compatible? I mean, you know me. What do you think? And slow it down. At least take 90 days. I had, after my first divorce, I did therapy, and one of the best things that my therapist told me, great advice, and I want you to take this to heart, is listen to what they're saying and then see if it matches up when they're out doing things with other people. Are they kind? Are they compassionate? Are they empathetic? Do they look for reasons to have conflict? Or do they try to work things out? Because there's a 10x factor when you're in that relationship, and you may not see that early on in that relationship when all these chemicals are flowing. Yeah. Because, we want to have romance. We want to, have all these wonderful things and passion and all that stuff, but that is not going to carry a long-term relationship. What carries that is actually the chemical oxytocin.
Oxytocin, which was very interesting to me to read the study because they talked about how, we've been married almost 30 years and we love each other. I mean, we just have this whole warm, love each other to pieces, like you cry when you think about it, love. Mm-hmm. And every once in a while we'll get the passion, but not the same as when Not the same as the
Li-
first 90
lightning
days.
does strike occasionally.
Yeah. But what they talked about is what happens with people is that when you have a close, loving relationship, and it doesn't just have to be with your romantic partner, it can be with friends, family, children, anybody that you have like this heartfelt feeling with them, that creates oxytocin in your body. And that's why, like, if you hang out with your friends and you're just having this great time and you have these wonderful feelings, that's oxytocin, and that's what you're looking for. And that's the same with Wayne and I and other couples we know that have loving long-term relationships, is they just love being with each other because they have oxytocin that flows.
Absolutely. The other thing that happens when you first come together, you start looking of all the things that are compatible but you're irrational about it.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
that's one of the major problems with going into relationships. And my story was with my first wife is we only knew each other really less than 30 days and we ran off to Reno, got married, and then we had to work out all these other their challenges. And emotionally, we were in different places, and it was very difficult. And I really felt bad for my first wife because it wasn't really fair to her because I wasn't really in a great place to be able to go, yeah, I'm really madly in love and all this other stuff. And we had worked out our compatibility parts. We were very different people. We weren't bad people. We were actually a really loving couple to each other, but we just had so many other different things going on that it was a little difficult. It was actually really hard.
Yeah.
I know it was hard for her in the first year.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's why one of the things that we offer our clients is we do what we call we give you a soulmate selection checklist, which helps you understand exactly who you want to be with, and then you have to become that person. And then we also help you when you meet somebody. We do calls with you to kind of go over, kind of help you through the 90 days.
Right.
Help you go, okay, well, have you thought about this? Did you see this and this person, how they respond to that? Make sure that you are using your frontal cortex and not
Right.
the rest of your body and stuff
Right.
like that. So it's just really, really important. We feel very blessed that we had known each other for a year and a half before we became romantic partners. And we had way past the 90 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was
It was a
great.
lot easier for us.
Yeah.
And it's just something that you need to keep in mind, and you want to really slow the relationship down, give it time, let the chemicals subside. Not that they aren't great, because they are,
Yeah.
but just be cautious and make sure you're going out with someone that you can build a long-term loving relationship, and they're going to have the tools, the skills, the ability to be there for you.
And the desire.
And the desire.
They have to want it as badly as you do.
Absolutely. So we hope that helps, and we'll talk to you soon.